Hello, hello, hello. So, as a high achieving midlife woman, are you quote unquote doing self care so that you can go back into survival mode? This was something that came up that I noticed was quite common amongst some of the women that I was doing a pause and breathe session for last month. And even though they prided themselves on doing self-care, they didn't realize that their self-care was actually equipping them, fueling them to be in survival mode rather than to thrive. There's a difference. You know, you can be taking time out and doing all your self-care routines, your self-care activities, and then maybe you might rest a little bit, and then it's back into the go, 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 back onto that treadmill, back into the hectic schedule, back into working at full capacity because you feel re-energized. However, it defeats the object of self-care. And it also defeats the object of thriving. You know, just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're thriving. A majority of high achieving midlife women are in survival mode. So you can find yourself going from being flat out, going at 100 miles an hour to, okay, let me have a little pause, a little rest, a little recovery time, a little bit of self-care, and then back into that state of surviving, going at 100 miles an hour, going on that treadmill, you know, back into your routine of helter-skelter, as one lady called it, running around like a headless chicken, well, however you want to call it, you know, you're juggling the responsibilities. It really does defeat the object of self-care for thriving. So I invite you to do a little, you know, check on yourself. Is your self-care moving you back into that area of survival mode? Or is your self-care helping you to thrive? Because at the end of the day, we all want to thrive. You know, survival mode can only last for so long. And as we know, survival mode comes from the the arena of stress. So, and chronic stress at that. So have a check on what you're doing for your self-care. And does your self-care lead you to thrive, or does your self-care lead you back into survival mode? I'm going to continue with my walk here in the sunshine, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.